On today's special episode of Homeworthy, we're taking you to Jackson, Mississippi, where two of our favorite hosts, Erik Kegler and Brennan Hovell, show us how to entertain with ease for the holidays. In just 5 hours, they're having a Christmas party for more than 50 people and show us how they prepare. From the signature drinks to the festive home decor, discover how to throw the ultimate holiday soiree with a delicious twist. So get in the holiday spirit with us as Erik and Brennan pull off a fabulous holiday party. You won't want to miss this. You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story.
Hey Homeworthy, I'm Brennan Hovell.
And I'm Erik Kegler. Welcome back to our home in Jackson, Mississippi.
Today we're hosting a holiday party for over 50 guests.
And we only have 5 hours to put this together, so we need to get started. Come on in.
Come on, let's go.
Welcome back to our house, Homeworthy. We are getting ready to throw a party for 50 of our friends for this holiday.
50-ish. Like we always tell everybody, just like bring a +1, bring a guest. It's a great way to meet new people and kick off the holiday season. So 50-something.
So
Yeah.
we do this annually. We really find it a great way to kind of kick off the holiday season. But we thought we'd kind of show you how we do set up for our holiday party. I usually make a signature cocktail, so we're going to kind of work on that a little bit and talk about like the catering that's sort of happening. It's a busy time of year for us, so we bring in a lot of friends to give us a little bit of help, but we also try and keep it simple for ourselves because we do a lot of holiday decor, which we're going to kind of show you inside our house to show around a little bit.
And we love just a fun, casual hangout party. Not too formal, just everybody getting together, having a good time, celebrating the season.
So let us show you kind of what we do and take you around the yard.
So we are so excited that everybody finally gets to see our backyard. In our last episode, it had iced the day before we filmed, and so we didn't get to see the backyard. So it's so exciting that we're doing this holiday party in our backyard, and we have a 14-foot tree in the center of the backyard, and tons of help getting it all ready for us.
Which always makes us really excited because our backyard always sort of looks its best like at Christmas because it's such a good season here in Jackson, Mississippi. So the weather is beautiful and it's just such a nice festive time for us to sort of sit and like pull out the best of our backyard. And Brendan has worked so hard on the backyard through the years that it's always nice to sort of show it off for our guests.
Yeah.
So part of what we do at our store is we decorate a lot of houses and businesses for Christmas. And one of our deep, dark secrets is if you want to decorate a tree really quickly, we purchase these like pre-done garlands that are really, really lovely to fill in your tree. It really is kind of, it's not every tree that we do this on, but there are certain trees where you're kind of moving or need to move quickly. And this is great for like people with kids, that it really fills in your tree quickly and makes it look finished without a whole lot of effort.
So follow us this way. We'll go through the gazebo, and this is where we're gonna have the what is it? The chocolate martini something.
Don't talk about things you don't know. So I've made an espresso chocolate martini, hot chocolate martini with marshmallow cream whip for our guests tonight. It was my one addition. We're having the party catered and things, but I always like to do something a little special that's kind of a little different. So this is where we kind of are going to do that display.
And he loves chocolate, so.
I do love chocolate, so it's really great. And then if y'all wander through the gazebo, it opens you up to our amazing backyard, which really was featured in Southern Living in the 80s, which was kind of fun and really special about the whole thing. But when we got here, it had been really in disrepair. So it's taken the last almost decade for us to kind of like, well, I say us, for Brennan to bring it into fruition. I just come out here and watch. It's really what I do.
So this is a great spot. We enjoy hanging out here. It's tons of fun. But back over here is where we're gonna do the main bar. It's so fun to throw a party in this yard because people get to wander through and just hang out in different little spots, which is great.
Yeah, it really is kind of great. There are all these little circles that were created in the backyard that we use like for a fire pit, and we use some for seating, and there's a whole area up here that we end up sort of putting the bar, and we a lot of times we'll even use like the potting area that Brennan has created to do food out here. So it really makes a nice circle through the house, which is why it's so great to have a party here. This was actually a great party house.
It's really a perfect party house. So we have, setup is happening right now. We've got tables, chairs set up. We're gonna do like seated stuff out here. We've got golf carts so we can transport everybody. Back here is where the bar is getting set up.
So, and tonight we have 4 signature cocktails that are coming in with different sort of, there's a gin cocktail, a scotch cocktail, a vodka cocktail. I can't remember the last one that we created. Plenty of cocktails, and some amazing like champagne and mixers for champagne. We enjoy sort of the aspect, like when we throw a party, of like really sort of doing some different things and making it a little more interactive for our guests. We kind of find that's really kind of a fun part of like keeping people at a party at our house, is like interactive things and things that are kind of fun. Like as we take you down, there's an area we're doing like wood-fired pizzas tonight, which is really kind of fun.
Outdoor wood, they're bringing in outdoor pizza oven, which is gonna be exciting. And then we've also got a ugly sweater cookie competition happening.
That is actually a tradition with a couple that we hang out with a lot, that every year we have done, that we take ugly sweater cookies and we decorate them. So this year we kind of expanded it to like do it for all of our friends. So it's kind of fun. We're excited tonight.
And the ugliest sweater is going to win a prize at the end of the night.
So decor-wise, every year we try and change it up a little bit color-wise. This year we kind of went really traditional. We've had kind of a fascination with red, and so we adapted red and green. So our tablecloths are like this really beautiful, like sort of fail green, and we have velvets that are in the garage. So if we want to kind of show you along, we can go in the garage and kind of take you on a little more of a tour of the holiday decor.
Follow us this way. So welcome to our garage. This is
Doesn't quite look
obviously
like a garage
not the
right
normal garage. We have cleaned it out. The treadmill's hidden. The workout equipment is all hidden.
Not quite.
Yeah, not quite. But so when we bought this house, we thought this was such a great spot to really entertain people. We've thrown Thanksgiving dinners out here for 25 people, put a long table in the middle. It really has been a great spot for entertaining.
And we created these doors in the garage so that we didn't end up with the problem of the mechanics of a garage door. So it was partially, we really did think of this as being sort of a party spot. So one of the things I'll tell you that's hidden behind here is this is actually where we keep like all our platters and everything for like all our parties and stuff. We tuck all of this back here. So all of this along here is shelving and things that we hide all of our party supplies in. One of the things—
The drape is temporary.
The drape is temporary, yes. We have a great company that we work side by side with that helps us do when we do party decor and stuff, that has been really helpful. So they came in and
TWG events.
Yes.
Yeah.
So one of the things, and we can kind of show you, is so this is kind of like the tablecloth sort of that we selected for this year, which, as I said, was like great velvets. There's red velvets and green velvets, and then there's this really great sort of holiday cloth with the chocolate brown that just cuts all of that traditional decor down just a little bit.
I think using the chocolate brown with the red and green just seems a little bit more sophisticated, a little bit more elevated. And
yes. And so we kind of did that. We were going to set up food tables in here. So our friends actually we have 2 different caterers coming to do the event. Our friends from Walker's are coming to actually do the food. And our friend Danny from For Heaven's Cakes is actually doing all the dessert setup. So we're really excited. You know, it's so lovely throwing this party because it becomes so much about all of our friends and things coming in, which is great, and bringing us some of their things with our things and mixing it together, which is kind of really fun. The cookie station is actually the thing that I'm really excited about this year, just because I think it's really going to be fun. We had a local bakery that sat and made us all of these like undecorated little sweater sugar cookies that we're going to put out and have everybody kind of decorate with icing and things, which I think will be fun. And it gave us a chance to bring out a piece that Brennan and I have had since we first opened our store.
I think we bought that snowman head 10 years ago?
Yeah.
10 years ago, and have never really used it. It's been in our warehouse. It's been collecting dust. Eric's mom came over and scrubbed it clean so we could use it finally. Super excited to have it as a centerpiece in this room today.
Yeah, so as much as we talk about the fact that this is our holiday party, the truth is we have a lot of hands come in to help us do all of this. So we're really grateful for all of it.
We do much better without.
Doesn't everybody?
One of our favorite outdoor centerpieces for like a seated table kind of thing is to just do like a collection of a bunch of candles. We've collected over the years these weird wood blocks that are awesome to just pile different candles up on top of. And so we will just load these up with candles.
And then we have these cute little simple flower arrangements that we tuck in and nestle in with them, which is one of our favorite things to do. As we said, it keeps it simple. This is a really busy time of year for us. So while we love sort of throwing the party, the truth is we also try and keep some simple ideas going for this party so that it doesn't get too overwhelming for us as we kind of come in to do this. It's partially why we have it catered and we do the different things, is just to make sure that the party is nice, but that we're not so overwhelmed by it that it's going to be hard for us to pull all this off. So we were super excited that our friends are sort of bringing in this stand. So our friend Jennifer, oh, she's over there. So she can tell you a little bit more about the food that's coming in here.
I have beef tartare with garlic aioli, crispy capers. We have a fresh fig tart coming in with pistachio and drizzled honey.
Yum.
That sounds good.
We have a Kate meat and cheese board. We have spinach and artichoke with crostini. Sliced portobello mushrooms, which is our signature, with spicy comeback on this table.
And if you don't know what comeback dressing is, you got to come to Mississippi to figure it out.
This is true.
I'm getting back to work.
Okay.
All right.
Bye. Well, so one of the things that Jennifer is going to do for us is she's brought cypress actually from her farm that she's actually going to help us decorate sort of to kind of create this space to sort of make it look more festive and nice tonight. So she's going to help us with a little bit of decor. We've been working hard inside the house, so we've got a little help working outside the house.
We've known Jennifer probably for 12 years. Her and her husband, Derek, own 3 restaurants in town and have a catering business. We used to own an event rental and design business, and we've since sold it, but we developed a friendship and a relationship with them through that, and have maintained our friendship and love them, love their restaurants, and they have amazing food. Wait till you see the outdoor pizza oven that's coming.
And I'll also say, you know, living in Jackson, like I've lived here for 25 years and Brendan has lived here 12 years. Community is really important to everybody here. And so kind of it's an interesting way that like connection becomes really important. And I feel like it's just kind of you develop these friendships through the years with people that each have a talent or a gift. And so it's kind of a nice way that we live in our city. It really does kind of create a really nice vibe that so many of our friends work in jobs or whatever that we all try and do for each other as we are working together.
Yeah. It's great to help each other out.
Yep.
So Eric and I have been in this house for 10 years. Finally, about a year and a half ago, completed all the renovations. And the house and garden are really kind of where we wanted it to be.
So we bought the house from Betty Love McClarty. The house was actually the original first lot on Northside Drive in Jackson, Mississippi. It was built in
52.
And really the McClarty house was really known as the party house of Northside Drive. So the yard and the gardens and everything were all built to create this huge party atmosphere, which we promised Betty Love when we bought the house and met with her. We promised her that we would not only bring the house back to its original glory, but that we would continue the tradition of making it a party house.
And it really is been a really special place to have a party. And when we bought the house, all of the neighbors to either side of us were the original neighbors. And recently we lost one of the original neighbors to the right of us, and her son was over here today helping us get ready, and was excited to see just that the life of what these women created on this street is still happening today.
We kind of thought while it was quiet and before all the guests arrive and all the hubbub starts for the party that we would kind of walk you through our house and show a little of how we've decorated our house for Christmas.
In our foyer, we've got basically part of my mom's Santa collection. When my mom passed, it's one of the things that I got from her. And so it's kind of fun that it's right here in the beginning of the front of the house that people get to see it.
And what's kind of interesting actually is that both Brendan's mom and my mom collected Santas. So we have both Santas from both of our families actually, which is kind of makes it sort of special. So welcome to our living room. With all the color in here, Brendan and I really kind of thought that we would focus on keeping a more monochromatic decor in here as far as the tree was concerned and the garland. So we went with a really saturated red. We kind of felt like, it was super holiday festive and really...
And we hadn't done an all-red tree in a really long time, so...
So part of what we did was I layered a lot of the velvet garland. I found this velvet leaf garland that was from a company that we love, Windward, and I used massive amounts of it. I think there's like 12 garlands on this tree to really fill it in. Focused on ornaments that we love, a company called Jingle Nog, and we also put Radco on the tree and really filled everything in on the tree to kind of really, again, like saturate, filled it with color. We love a hand-blown glass ornament, which is sort of the really dangly hanging ornament, which was really kind of just adds the luster, like when the light sort of floats through it. And one of the things for us too, as we work on like where we place a tree in a room, is also not only in the room, but also how it floats outside, so that basically you can see everything from the exterior of the house. Becomes really important.
One of my favorite things about this tree is the tree topper, which is not really a tree topper. It is a Santa, and these are all one-of-a-kind Santas made by Elaine Rosale, who was voted
By Time
Magazine as the #2 Santa maker in the country. All the faces are hand-painted. All of the fur is real fur.
And all the decor is actually vintage or antique, toys and ornaments and things. But one of the things about it is kind of how I do this, is my deep dark secret, is there's actually like a stand that sits inside the tree, real deep in there, that I zip tie to the actual tree structure. And that helps me to get it wedged in there. And then he is gently zip tied to the top of the tree. So it is kind of my...
You can't do Christmas without a zip tie.
Yeah, no, that is my favorite friend, is a zip tie. It is kind of how I get everything rigged into these trees most of the time.
So while our moms collected Santas, the Elaine Rosale collection is kind of our collection that we started doing on our own. And so there's actually 2 of her Santas up here. He's a little separate guy that's zip tied in there.
Counting the outside tree, which is really, I will say, a party tree that we really kind of set up for the party. There are 5 trees in our house. There is a living room tree. There are 2 smaller family room trees. And then there's a master bedroom tree. Brent and I like to put a little Christmas, like where we spend time. Yeah. And also like where our friends spend time when they come to the house. So we like to make sure that off the dining room, there's always a little bit of Christmas. And especially for the party every year, because we kind of let guests float through the whole house, we like to make sure that as they're making the circle, which is always really important as you're throwing a party, make sure you work on how you function the circle with food and bar and like how people like congregate when you create that flow of a circle, but within the circle that they always get a little bit of Christmas everywhere they are.
Give them a reason throughout the house to go somewhere, so that way everybody kind of moves around.
Go somewhere that's beyond liquor.
Right. A big collection of our Elaine Rosale Santas are on the mantle. This is the first year we've done this. We actually had a friend of ours that does ironwork create this metal structure in order to get this shape to the garland. So it's mounted to the mantle and then curves around and then mounted to the mantle here, curves up. I tied each one of these little bows. If you know anything about me, that is not what I normally do. It's tedious little work like that, but we did it. But this is a great collection of the Elaine Rosale Santas. You can see all the vintage toys that she uses to adorn the Santas with. And hand paints all the faces. They're really all very special and all one of a kind.
And one of the things we really worked on, since this was so dramatic and all of the red was really dramatic, was making sure that we used the same components in the garland that we used on the tree. So all the ornaments, all the different garlands, are all the components that we used on the tree so that everything kind of connects together. Because we do know that while our living room is not humongous in size, that we wanted to make sure that kind of the drama of this felt like it was cohesive together.
And since we did all red in this room this year, we thought that Big Daddy Santa belonged in this room in a special chair.
So Big Daddy Santa was one of the vintage pieces that Brennan bought back for me. It was actually in a florist's in Dayton, Ohio for 50 years. They used it as part of their display in their windows. And so this was actually the Santa that Brennan drove in his car.
He rode with me in the passenger seat. so I could go in the carpool lane, you know.
But he's one of our favorite pieces. We move him around the house every year. He's kind of fun. It's always enjoyable watching people sort of walk in because he's shockingly large for, like, you know, a stuffed Santa.
And I think he was probably originally a Coca-Cola Santa that they used in a grocery store display, probably in the 50s, 40s, that kind of thing.
So, you know, one of the things about the holiday season is that it's always just been really important to Brett and I. When we first met, it was really one of the things we talked about was that Christmas was meant to be special and celebrated well between the two of us.
And so it used to be that meant we would buy each other a ton of gifts. And as we have grown and as the years have gone by, it really has been more about who we spend the time with and how we celebrate the season. And this party is one of those ways that we can celebrate with our friends and our family and people that we care about and really kick off the season well.
And Christmas has always been really important, especially in decor. Just, you know, when we decided to open the store, my real dream was that I always wanted New York Christmas in our store. And so I felt no different about our house. Like, really, one of the things we wanted was that it was magical and that really this is where people get inspired by Christmas and they're inspired by the holiday and they get excited about the season. So,
and a little sneak peek, it's where Christmas comes alive, right?
This is true, actually. So a lot of times we come up with a theme for the store, and so we are actually celebrating the theme for the store tonight as part of the party, which is kind of fun, actually.
Which is where Christmas comes alive.
Yes. So I think, you know, Christmas when I was a kid was always really... I was the kid that woke up with, like, the train tracks running around the living room and everything. So I think Christmas has always held a really special place in my heart, just as something that was magical and that it was meant to sort of inspire you and give you energy. I won't lie, sometimes decorating a Christmas tree, it kind of saps me, but the truth is, at the end of it, seeing the finished product, it's always so lovely. And I think that's part of what just makes me happy about it.
One of the best things about this Christmas is we lost Layla, who some of y'all met in our last Homeworthy episode. And this is our first Christmas with our new babies. And this is Mac and Tosh, which are named after Layla. Her middle name was Macintosh, so...
And they're very clear that Layla is a part of our yard, actually, and that she is their godmother. So it is, while we miss her very much, we are very excited to have these two little babies to experience Christmas with this year. But let's take you into our dining room and show you a little more of our collection. So, welcome to our dining room. We have a very small collection here, but one of the pieces I find really, really special is I lucked into this little choir boy. I found him on eBay. This was probably like 12 years ago, almost.
I think this was one
like
of the
first pieces
vintage presents that you bought me early on, right? Wasn't it?
Yeah, and it was really inexpensive. I got it in the box and was so shocked when I got it because it was so large and it was like, and so what I found out was it was actually used in a very old department store that's now closed called Strawbridge and Clothier. It was used in their decor in the store years and years ago. So it was really special to me. And we kind of collected it with, my mom made us.
Eric, let me interrupt you. I think I just saw Ben pull up.
Okay.
And he's here to set up the music for outside. So I'm going to go run and do that.
Okay, I'll finish. One of the things that's kind of special is my mom actually made all these jeweled trees. This actually, after Brennan's mom passed away, she made a tree for Brennan and for his sister that used all of his mom's costume jewelry. So it made it kind of special and was really kind of nice. But it kind of created a little bit of a habit or a craft for my mom. And so she started kind of making these others. And we tied it nicely with all these little vintage trees that are actually sort of these like vintage brush trees, which I kind of love. My mom was always really crafty when I was a kid. And so one of the things that I just got this year is my mom made these choir people out of paper mache when I was about 5 years old. And so she brought them to me this year, which I kind of adore because I remember them from my childhood. And so they're really, really special to me. So this is kind of something that I appreciate just because my mom made it for me. Oh, my mom's super crafty, I won't lie. My mom is the reason I really do this for a living. It's my mom sort of had this bug when I was a kid and never did anything with it overly professional, but the truth is, like, really has always done things that were kind of amazing and neat, and is, as she's gotten older, she really does a lot of the stuff that she helps us build. My mom actually helps us build a lot of the pieces that we take to clients' houses and stuff. So some of the stuff that she does, she'll come and visit us and actually help build wreaths and things. So it's kind of nice. It actually keeps us really well connected together in our business with my mom. I did not grow up with a lot of money. My parents divorced when I was like 9 years old. And I remember I was thinking about this actually as I knew Homeworthy was coming. I had this Christmas that my mom, we had no money. I did not actually know at the time how little money we had, but my mom actually made me an entire puppet stage and these amazing paper mache puppets from hand by scratch, sewed the outfits, did the whole thing. And I've always remembered it being like the best Christmas I ever had. And like years later, my mom was like, you realize like I did all of that because we didn't have any money. And so it was one of those things that I think now, like being older, I think like that's the whole inspiration of Christmas for me, is like that special thing that's not about the money, it's not about anything, it's really about the connection and the love and creating something for people. It really, yes, it really has sort of inspired my love of Christmas. So y'all, any of you watched the old Homeworthy knew that we had like 5 bars in this house before we renovated it. We did actually keep the bar in the family room. And Brennan and I find like tonight we have 50 guests or more coming. So we actually have a bar service coming to sort of make drinks and stuff. But really, we kind of find it important for our guests that both drink and don't drink to make sure that we have a really good setup of liquor here, that we have different things that we think everybody would drink. We try and make sure there's gin and bourbon and scotch and vodka and tequila so that our guests always feel like there's something that they would like to sort of drink when they're here. And I do love to mix a cocktail. One of the things we really do love is like we love some vintage barware. So I am a little obsessed. These was one of our newest things. Is I love these glasses. We found them and they're these beautiful Fostoria glasses that are vintage that I just really kind of love. I love how they serve a cocktail. And we kind of, so our bar is a little more vintage, but we kind of keep our bar really well stocked with lots of different glasses, like different wine glasses and rocks glasses. And we keep our glasses, that even the water glasses that we sort of serve on there. And one of the things we did was this nice hidden drawer that we keep all our different cocktail napkins and things in, which really kind of helps make, for me, service really easy with our guests. But I also like the fact that when it's all closed up, it's all really hidden away. Our family room is probably the most special place. Hey,
all set up.
welcome back.
Music is getting set up. We're good.
I was just actually talking about that. This is actually probably my most favorite part of our Christmas decor is this room.
So probably, I'm going to say 20 years ago, before I even met Erik, I started collecting these ornaments from the 40s and 50s and absolutely love them. It is my favorite thing that we do every year at Christmas. And most everybody knows our Christmas decor in our house from these ornaments. This is kind of one of the things that everybody talks about. They're all really special. This little guy right here is an ornament that I found, one of the ones that I bought for Erik. I think that he's probably like Scandinavian somehow. You can kind of just tell by the face on the Santa. But all of these ornaments, believe it or not, for as many of them as there are, kind of have a special little spot. My favorites are the little bells with the little thing that still rings inside. I don't know, what do you call it?
You don't know the name of
What do you call that thing?
The bell ringy thing.
The bell thing, yeah. But
There's a really beautiful one that was from Neiman Marcus that's down there, the balloon. I'm not even sure who, I've gotten to the point I don't even remember who gave who what. Just am like, it's just really kind of pretty, and it's like, some of it that's really kind of fun is when they're so large too, because they're really hard to find. But there's this one that actually is a Victorian ornament that still has the dried flower on it. You know, it's...
And that one's probably actually from 1880.
Mm-hmm. But we did, in Mississippi, truthfully, it really doesn't actually get cold here until usually after Christmas. So we kind of did more this year around the mantle because we usually end up don't building fires very early here. So kind of figured this would all be taken down by the time we would light a fire.
Usually our first fire comes sometime mid-January.
Yes, it is true. But this is really one of the most special, I think, like trees and the decor that we have, because it's just something that we've really collected together, which means a lot to both of us.
And this is actually the first year we've done
Tinsel.
the tinsel. One of our friends, it's one of their family traditions, and I think she said they use like 30 boxes of tinsel on their tree every year, and we were kind of enamored by it, so we thought we'd steal their idea this year.
I think it's always fun. I think sometimes you can get kind of stuck in a rut with Christmas, and I think it even happens to us occasionally. I think it's really fun to keep changing it up and adding things to your decor and doing some things and trying other things, like even for us changing up and doing more of this look. I think it's important to try to change things up. It keeps it fun and interesting, and it keeps like you thinking of different ideas. I mean, I realize that...
I think most people probably think, like, I put my tree here, this Santa goes here, I do this on my dining room table, and it's fun to mix it up and change it every year and keep it new and fresh and interesting. And I think it keeps you excited about decorating your house for Christmas.
I agree. So one of the traditions that Brennan and I have always sort of was that we buy each other a pair of pajamas for Christmas Eve. Well, we open them on Christmas Eve so that we can wear them on Christmas Day. Has always been something that we held as a tradition. That was actually one of my friend's traditions that I enjoyed, so we kind of passed into that. And really, I think the decor in our home is a huge part of what is something we share together. A large part of our decor and ornaments are all vintage, and Brennan and I every year have bought each other special different vintage ornaments and set-arounds and everything. That has really become a part of what is a major part of what we kind of consider our holiday tradition.
Yeah, I would say it's probably, it's so much fun every year to open up the Christmas boxes and see those ornaments that we have bought each other, and you remember them so fondly. So that's...
Well, and it's kind of fun because the hunt becomes so much a part of what has made it fun. Like, it really is the giving part that becomes so interesting because through 10 years or 12 years actually of doing this, it gets harder and harder to find the special thing that's going to sort of wow somebody. So that kind of has become a huge part of it too, is the hunt for the thing. So Brett and I, when we first met, we agreed that Christmas was really important. And so we were like buying we were buying stuff for stockings. And I think the first year we ended up
Like it was just piles of
too
stuff
much.
coming out of the
Too-
stocking. And
So we got Brennan's mom, we sent her a bunch of extra leftover fabric, and we were like, we need stockings that are like, like
big.
big.
That you could put a present in.
So these are Brennan and I's stockings, which are inordinately, they're as large as the Santa, actually, in our living room. But it's really fun. It makes it really fun.
The stocking is really the best part of
Yeah,
Christmas.
it really
I mean,
is.
it's so much fun to open all the presents in the stocking. I was like, it is always the best.
Well, and the size of these matches the size of our mantle, so it's fine, because our fireplace is
Perfect.
huge. So if you want to follow me into the kitchen, I can show you a little of our dessert setup for tonight. So a lot of times when we're throwing a party for this many people, we find catering is a little easier. It makes us, makes me
It's
less...
really almost impossible
Yeah.
because I don't cook.
And it makes me anxious to try and prepare and get ready and feel like I'm going to have a good time if I'm dealing with too much food prep and things like that. So I find it just nicer to sort of have stuff like this catered. We have some really nice friends. We have a friend who's catering tonight. We also have a friend who's made most of the desserts that we are going to keep here in the kitchen actually with us.
So we kind of created this centerpiece, vignette, so to speak, for all the desserts, set all this up, found these great plants, and kind of decided that I'm going to leak this.
Are you?
Yeah, I think this is going to be our holiday decor in the kitchen, not just for the party this year.
So we are having tonight for desserts, we actually have peppermint macaroons, which I'm super excited
I've already
about.
had one. Amazing.
And then I actually asked Danny to make semi-individual trifles. So I asked her if she would make trifles that we could serve out of, but they were really kind of pretty and all on their own. And we have some chocolate tarts that are coming. And she's actually making, that will be here later because it is super delicate. I asked her if she'd make like a layered pavlova dessert that actually will end up looking like a Christmas tree here. So I love a little drama in the whole holiday dessert idea. Like
He also loves stressing out our friends.
I
to
do, actually.
Make she's like, it dissolves. If you don't put it, it's not in the right temperature. She's very stressed out about it. But
I always think it's really nice. Like there's so many traditional desserts. There's like, there's Yule logs, there's, Bush to Noel, there's croquembouche. I love when you sort of have that little bit of drama that sort of comes with like a holiday party. So that always makes me a little happy. May not make our friends happy, but I love it. So
a little drama at the holiday party, a little drama any other time of the year.
it's always
Makes them happy.
So one of the things that we actually just acquired from an estate sale is this pine cone wreath that we found and kind of refurbished to put it on top of our Venta hood, which...
It hung in the foyer of a old nunnery. And the nunnery was for sale, and they had an estate sale there, fell in love with it, bought it. It was kind of in the shape of a wreath that they put around a horse's neck when they win a horse race.
It was like a big O.
It was like a big U shaped. It was so it took a little work, but the vintage pine cones are amazing.
Yeah, so it was really it really turned out well, and Brendan somehow got it up there, and I don't know how.
Yeah, secrets.
So this is part of our I'll show you later. We have a little cocktail that's coming out. So this is some of my concoctions.
Chocolate martinis.
Hot chocolate espresso martinis. It's like dessert and liquor. It's like, two favorite connections together. Best part about the holidays is the fact that I love that I feel like there's moments that we get to be children again. Like I feel like in creating the look that we create in our store and in our home, it really brings me back to being able to be childish a little, and for us to be a little childlike in our own environment and in our store, which really is the most lovely feeling to get to feel like that. I feel like at our age, there's so much easiness to why you should feel grown up, and it really does make me feel every year like we get to kind of return a little bit to our childhood.
And I kind of feel the same way. You know, my mom passed about 5 years ago, and Christmas was always so important to her. And just keeping up those traditions and acknowledging Christmas in a big way, I think would make her so happy. And it's a great way to honor my mom and to honor my family.
And so much of our house is filled with our family, things that our family has made or have given us, or collections from them. It is really special that we are the holders of the keys of our family's holiday decor and traditions, really. So one of the last things we need to do before we kind of have to go and get ready is I need to kind of put together some of our signature cocktails. I was really inspired. Brent and I just went on a trip to Switzerland for our 10th anniversary, and I am a huge sweet tooth, and
Chocoholic, really.
Yeah, and it was amazing having all the chocolates, but I had this amazing hot chocolate that was not overly sweet, and so I was kind of inspired to do this espresso hot chocolate martini, and then I kind of added this marshmallow whipped cream just because, you know, who doesn't want that? So what I did do was yesterday, a day ahead, which is also kind of important to me. Like, I don't like feeling stressed towards the end or getting ready for a party. So I like things that are make ahead easy. So what I did was I took a half gallon of coconut milk and heated it, and I poured it over about 60 ounces of dark chocolate and about 7 tablespoons of espresso, like instant espresso mix. Mix that all together. I put it in the fridge last night to let it chill. And so I have that mixed together, and I have the liquor mixed together, which is 2 parts vodka to 1 part Kahlua and 1 part creme de cow. And that's kind of my mix. So what I really do is I gauge for about getting to about a third of the liquor mix. Make sure I'm like kind of even. And then I pour the hot chocolate mix on top, which is nice and thick and gooey. You get me a stir, Brennan.
Sure.
So there are things that you can sort of do that are like pre-mixes for this, but I will say I think there's nothing better than sort of the like pull together of making this, and then really just stir this together until the two things combine together.
Could you put it in a shaker?
You could put this in a shaker. It's just, I know we're going to have this serving outside, so it's just easier to sort of like do this completely this way. But it's got a really nice like chocolatey quality. I will also say for people that do not want the alcohol involved, the hot chocolate part of this is really, really good. You just want to thin it down with a little bit more coconut milk on top of it. On top of that, I ended up doing, so I took heavy whipped cream. I took 2 huge scoops of that marshmallow fluff that you used to make peanut butter and fluff sandwiches when you were a kid. And I added a tablespoon of vanilla and a tablespoon of powdered sugar. And this kind of can just sort of rest right on top of that. There. And then as just kind of my garnish, I ended up sort of doing that. I took a little York peppermint patty. Get me a knife out of the drawer.
Sure.
And I just kind of sliced a little bit of a notch in it. And all you do is just sort of tuck that on the edge right there. And so there is our little. So one of my other little tips that we both agree on is before your party starts, make sure you have a little bit of a cocktail that you sip on to get ready for your party. And my other thing I always do is that we always usually get a little bit of snack before we go and get ready for our parties, just because you're socializing so much that sometimes I don't always get a chance to eat as much food
Or
as I
forget
need
to eat.
to balance out the liquor that you drink. So
Right.
always make sure food is important. So cheers.
Cheers.
Here's to a good night.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to y'all. Happy holidays.
That's
My sweet tooth happy.
strong.
I think it's kind of time for us to get ready.
It's time. Let's go. Guests are going to be arriving soon.
And we need to change. So we'll be back in
So
just
we're
a little
taking
bit.
these and going to get ready.
I'm Simone, I'm Eric's mother, and I can honestly tell you Christmas has always been really special, particularly to Eric. He was the first one down to open the presents. We got to the point where we actually wrapped every single present in the stocking just so that he was entertained at 6 a.m. in the morning and let the rest of us sleep, particularly his brother. I can honestly say I am so very proud of Eric and all he's accomplished in his life, but the fun that he has at these parties and putting them together and the entire event and making it special and beautiful in every way, shape, and form, from the food to the lighting to just everything. He loves it.
There you go. Can I have everybody's attention?
No crying.
I won't cry. I promise I won't
You
cry.
already did earlier today, so
Yeah.
it's fine.
So, thank you all for being here. We're so excited that you're all here to help us kick off the holiday season. It's so important to have all our friends and the people we care about the most here. So, thanks for being here and
For being a part of our lives, actually, and thanks for supporting us through all of this and supporting us every year. We really appreciate all of you, very, very much. In the middle of everything we do, including the holiday, we really just wanted to say we love you all very much. Thanks for joining.
raise your glass. Cheers. Merry Christmas.
Happy holidays.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to go to homeworthy.com for exclusive content, shopping guides, and so much more.